Gladiators versus PSG.LGD for the lower bracket finals of DreamLeague Season 20. Suns fan here with this guy.
Me.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Shannon. How are you doing?
Great.
Thank
You love small talk, I've heard. So I'm training.
Well, I'm gonna refrain from talking about weather because we have a very important game on our hands.
But the usual small talk, correct me if I'm wrong, is somebody asks you a question and you say yes, and then you ask them the same question.
That's true.
How is the weather? And you're like, yes. And then you say, how's your weather?
I like the weather more than you. Actually, it's probably the opposite. Freddy's back. I noticed he has a higher polygon version of him on top of Ace's head. Very interesting. The Tidehunter literally has Freddy 2.0 just sitting on his noggin. Pretty unreal that they would allow such disgraceful behavior to bestow upon us when Freddy is still alive and kicking. As the bounties will be traded out. And yeah, talk to me about these lineups. So Slark picked against the Medusa, against a lot of these tanky targets. In theory, that's kind of what you want as a Slark. You get these stacks up really high as long as you can survive the burst. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Timbersaw matchup is pretty double-edged, actually. I think it's one of the tanky offlaners that can kill Slark in lane. You can just deal a ton of damage. You have the option of not going much into your reactive armor, but focusing on your damaging spells and just running as Slark. It was the development we also saw Timbersaws follow in order to start beating Ursa's in lane, was that Ursa overcomes your tankiness, but he doesn't deal particularly well with the harassment, so you take that path. We'll see if that's what Niu is going to do here. In general, I think what the panel said rings pretty true here about the lineups, right? Like, you have PSG.LGD with the 3 tanky cores and a save support, and then on the other side you have you have Gaming Gladiators with some pretty good teamfight potential with the Ravage and Sonic Wave, and you have the Slark against tanky heroes, so they're kind of, and they have Tombstone, of course, which goes without saying. They're going to need to build some longer fights, I think, to ramp up their Slark. And I just got to say, if you put me on the spot, I would probably favor PSG.LGD, because how many games have you and I cast with this triple tanky core winning this tournament?
Yeah,
I feel like
it feels like a tanky boy meta in this tournament so far.
It's been very successful in the games we've seen. So
I do have to mention mid lane, 5-4 right now versus the 1-1 from Quinn. Nothing to say is off to a very good start. And once these Scream of Pains are leveled up, it will be a little bit easier for Quinn. He did opt to go for Shadow Strike. The panel kind of talked about the inherent tankiness of DK to where maybe you don't even want to go for that skill. Niu getting first blooded by Dyrachyo on the Slark. Not what you want to see if you're a PSG.LGD fan. Tofu on the other side. Have to pop the Fairy Fire to survive.
Wonder how that came to be. Planet was kind of off in the trees. I guess he was off using a salve or something, and they just went for it with Undying and Slark. But yeah, Niu only being level 1 there really seals the deal. They're able to pounce on him. Slark's level 2. The Timbersaw will now get some good experience in the tower, but that's a really important start for Gaming Gladiators, because this lane, if you don't win the Slark lane in this game, he's going to fall behind quite significantly. But now Dyrachyo is putting some good pressure onto Planet, forcing out a leap there. Curious to see how Niu goes about this. He's holding his skill point for now. There goes the chain. So double offensive skill build. I really like to see this. This is what I wanted him to do. Now we'll see on level 3 if he gets a value point reactive or if he keeps just maxing out the nukes here. Because you could go something like 2-2-0 and Mirana goes 2 in Starstorm. You actually have stupid burst damage against this Slark. You just do 2 volleys and he might not be able to sustain there. And what we've seen from Undyings in this tournament, they don't like skilling Soul Rip. So he's not going to be getting much heal from Celery, most likely. We'll get the Lotus, though. That's a nice little burst heal available.
Yeah, and Dyrachyo, with that first blood, he's still very high on the CS charts as well. Only behind Nothing to Say in the mid lane as the Pounce will connect. We'll talk about this Mirana pick as well in just a moment, as Dyrachyo now getting got on by Niu. Not just harassment from both sides.
I think this is the skill build here, 1-2-0 on Timber. So Timber Chain has a very low cooldown and the damage scales very well. And also, this is something we haven't really talked about with Timber in this new map layout, but I feel like he has more options in the side lanes for trees, right? Planet will have to leap again here.
Yep, Tombstone placed as well from Celery. And Niu, that's starting to get a lot of stacks on Dyrachyo.
Yeah.
I mean, do you get the reactive at 4 then, in this case?
I don't think he should.
Not at all?
I mean, you're going to get it eventually, but I think the way you win this lane is by going 2-2-0 and just pressuring the Slark as much as you can with spells before level 6.
Up Tofu, he's got some Shadow Poison stacks.
Not enough.
Oh,
That's 4.
Oh! 40 HP. He will survive. And mid lane, you can see still an absolute beatdown.
Yeah.
Nothing to say is destroying Quinn.
This is a classic counterpick to Queen of Pain, and I think part of the reason that Gaming Gladiators have been happy to pick Quap is that DK is not in meta, but PSG.LGD don't care. They see a good game for it, they're gonna run it, and so far so good for Nothing to Say. So the reason this lane dynamic is so awkward for Quap is that, first of all, okay, hang on, we're gonna see Duracho go in a little bit, but he actually gets bullied away now by Planet. Yeah, he has 20 on the wand, he's gonna have to use that now. So what Dragon Knight does against Queen in the lane, first of all, he has Dragon Blood, so you can't really harass very much with the Shadow Strike. Dragon Knight could just out-heal it. And then what you generally do is you either skill the stun, and then you stun Quap every time there's a range creep in deny range, and you just deny it. Or you skill Breathe Fire, and you just Breathe Fire her on the first wave. You have way more damage than her, and you just trade favorably in terms of CS.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He's just been Breathe Firing Queen all the time, and then finding denies. That's why he's 15 denies to Quinn's 1. Quinn even being sent back to base
it's
here.
It's really bad.
Yeah, this is a rough time. And he knows how weak this is. He knows this lane matchup very well, and he knows his usual state of the game very well on Queen. And this is the hardest start we've seen him have on the hero all tournament.
Yep, the one saving grace for Gaming Gladiators is Ace on the Tidehunter. He is top in the CS for the game, so having himself... I mean, we've seen a lot of laning stages where Ace is the top net worth for Gaming Gladiators.
Yeah, he has very good lane mechanics.
I think he's been the most consistent player during this tournament, at least for them. As a 6-minute power rune is upon us, it will be top, and it will be taken.
Oh, he actually got it.
Looked like he got it while stunned.
Yeah, can we get a replay on that?
That was
genuinely feel the same way. It was like he picked it up while in the air.
Well, he is flying.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you get stunned up in the air and you're already flying, does that really do anything? Here we go.
What?
That is really weird.
How?
That is really weird.
No, I mean, that's just a... Isn't that a bug? Wait.
Yeah, it's like on his way down. He was I don't know.
What?
Very strange. But he will be using the double damage to pressure the tier 1 tower for PSG.LGD. As we see Sheer on the top lane of the Medusa, off to a pretty good start as well, especially if you compare it to the Duracho Slark.
He's going to get a full tower minute 7 with this double damage.
I mean, you can't... What can Quinn do, you know?
Well, he could have told Tofu to stun better and deny the rune while he was stunned.
Yeah, that could have...
apparently, that was... I genuinely do not have an explanation of how he got that rune.
Oh, top lane, we have the initiation onto Shiro, but the save is here from YU Smile. But this is actually going to set up the Meteor Hammer from Ace, but now Nothing to Say has come to play. Dragon Tail immediately dispelled by the Kraken Shells. A nice double impale coming out from Tofu, as YU Smile will be the one to die. Nobody from Gaming Gladiators will be sacrificed. So the rotation ends up being, well, still probably worth it because you don't want to lose your Medusa.
Yeah, and he also protects a lot of damage that could have maybe been inflicted on the tower there with some additional secondary Meteor Hammer plays. So.
But this is good news for Quinn. His tower's dead. That means he can farm now.
Yes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It was all part of the plan. He said, thanks, Tofu. If he didn't get the DD, he wouldn't have taken my tower, so...
Second DK form of the game being used for the bot lane now, just using it off cooldown. And that is going to be the second tower in 8 minutes, effectively. And he's going to be going for the Blink Dagger first. And once that's online, I mean, they have the disruption for this as well, but I think the Dragon Tail much more consistent to set up the arrow.
Yeah.
And that is when these Gaming Gladiators here have to be careful. The Tide, probably the safest of them.
I think the Mirana pick in this game is extremely good for a couple of reasons. So first of all, as you mentioned, the 2 setups for arrows, right? Disruption and Dragon Tail. But I also find Mirana to be a pretty interesting hero in general against Slark. Okay, we're going to see Blink into arrow. Nice block there from Celery.
Yep, YU Smile. Going to get some help from Planet and Nothing to Say. The Sonic Wave comes in, gets the kill along with some damage to 2 more members of LGD. But New has showed up, and that means Quinn needs to get the hell out.
Dire's top
So the
tower
last
is
thing
under
that makes me
attack.
like Mirana so much this game is that I think Moonlight Shadow is a really good tool against Slark. So what this hero takes advantage of a lot of the time is night vision and just having access to information. But when you have Moonlight Shadow, you always have a way of attacking Slark even at nighttime. And that's exceptionally valuable for a hero like Dragon Knight, who needs to get the moment of surprise when you jump the Slark. So PSG.LGD are not going to run out of opportunities to really jump. And Gaming Gladiators don't have a key save against this Dragon Tail. Only the Undying Shard, which is going to be quite a while. He's probably not going to buy it straight away as his first item.
Why would you call it that?
I'm just doing it on purpose.
Triggering me. Now the chase is on to Dyrachyo. Does have his Shadow Dance, which he will use, but still getting bursted.
He's okay.
Has to pounce away. Nothing to say. I mean, his ult's available, so there's time to use it.
Let's go top.
Very good value. 2 usages and 2 towers. Shiro
He's going to need some
takes
help
damage
here.
from Quinn. He's going to have to pop
From
that
himself.
stone gaze. He's A-okay. But now that they know that's down, if they can find him again or surprise him in some capacity, that will be likely a kill. As the defusal coming relatively soon for Dyrachyo. Be a good tool against that Medusa. As Ace is found by New. Same levels across the board. And we've talked about it a bunch, but Meteor Hammer has been the item for Tidehunters in this tournament, even though Tide has not been the most commonly picked. And it will be the Blink afterwards.
Worthy tribute.
He's been gaining some momentum, particularly from Bet Boom picking it on Pure, I would say. It's becoming
Looking
more of
for a disruption
disruption.
into Arrow, and it connects. Nicely timed. Quinn assassinated. And now the chase is potentially on to Celery. Mystic Snake's going to slow him temporarily. Another leap to come. Nice blocks coming out from Planet.
Oh, really good block.
With the Starstorm to follow, and that ends up being a double kill for Shiro, who's still working on the Manta style. In terms of, oh my god, who is this? Is that a sparrow? What kind of bird is that? That's not a sparrow. Looks like a robin, almost. Ruby the robin?
Billy the bird.
Okay, well, we'll just call it a bird. Fine.
Then
Billy,
we're safe
looking
side.
on.
I think I can say with pretty high confidence that it's a bird.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with that.
This is accurate.
Radiant's top tower is under
Forgive me.
attack.
All right, defusal
There's
online
the
for
defusal,
Dyrachyo. Do they want to wait for this blink on Ace? Is that a requirement?
Not necessarily, but I think a full-on team fight, you need to be really careful with how you approach.
Neo trying to bait them a bit. There's a bunch in the trees here. Nothing to say. Showing off the blink dagger. They get the arrow follow-up as well, but Quinn able to blink out because of Ace's Ravage. And you can see the Finger of Death used to assassinate Planet. In the meantime, nothing to say. Slow to a crawl. He's going to get pounced on and destroyed. So the bait ends up working in Gaming Gladiators' favor.
That was a really quick and good reaction from them. Quinn is super dead there if they don't counter it instantly with that Ravage and the Lion follow-up. So, yeah, I was worried for Gaming Gladiators when it comes to a full-on team fight if they have what it takes to kill these tanky heroes against the disruption, but they found a way there. Especially the dream scenario is that PSG.LGD engage into you and you get to counter with Ravage. So that could not have been any better for them. I understand LGD's move there as well. They had a Dragon Tail into Arrow. All we needed is to leap Starstorm, but she got stunned on the way in. You're going to see the replay here. This is a Quinn kill if this Ravage doesn't clip the Mirana on the way in. She then gets hexed and then just killed off by the Finger of Death.
Yeah. And that was the Blink Dagger reveal for nothing to say as well. Ends up backfiring.
Really good
Now
fight.
Gaming Gladiators, pretty happy with that. And I believe the Blink is now on the way for Ace, but obviously no Ravage to couple it with. And it will be piped after the fact, so kind of the same build we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of Sheep Stick after the fact as well. Which I don't know what's prompted that for Tidehunter, because that is not, before this patch, was not a common on this hero at all.
Yeah, I think it was just matchup specific in the games that we've seen it. It's not like a go-to.
Feels like it's been almost every game.
I feel like we've had games with Refresher on Pure and not Hex, but maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe you got the Hex first as well.
Oh, Tofu juking unknowingly. Very nicely done. And I think Nothing to Say and company want to pressure that tier 2 bot. They're playing it a bit passive.
Quinn still has quite a way to go. This hero is not particularly great when playing from behind, but I would say as of the last year, Queen of Pain can actually recover. I feel like this hero used to be, if you don't win your lane in the mid game, your hero just sucks. And that's not really the case anymore. You have the potential to scale and come back if you get to farm a lot. You can get some key items such as the Aghanim's, which really allows you to have a mid game presence despite losing early if you still get that item at an okay-ish time. And a maxed out Quap can be a late game monster, so definitely not all too worrying, especially because Ace is doing so well. He can buy them some good time, and he will be going for the pipe as expected now after the blink as well as hammer, so this is pretty standard. Tanking up that way, having some good magic resistance against a lot of spells here. Mystic Snake, Dragons, two spells from the Dragon Knight, Mirana combo, Shadow Poison, Demonic Purge, Dagon, Dagon, and Dagon.
Yeah, good. Just name everything.
Just like Pyr and Flax on panel. I like this team. They have Undying, Slark, Tide.
Well, the Holy Locket being built by Celery on the Undying.
Yeah, that's not something we've seen that much.
Yep, Nothing to Say. Dragon Tail arrow connects, but Quinn blinks.
Snake.
But the Mystic Snake is enough to take him out, and Tofu will likely be collateral damage. Although Ace is in the vicinity, but the Breathe Fire is enough to finish him off. And they actually want more. He's getting blocked by the Kobold. Oh, Kenneth the Kobold saving the day.
Who said Trusty Shovel isn't the best item in the game, huh?
That's
funny.
Tower is under attack.
Kenneth. I think that is like the rarest name for a kobold of all time.
What's wrong with that?
It's just it really doesn't fit.
You can call him Kenny for sure if you want.
Keith or something. Kenneth the Kobold.
He has died of his own accord, so Kenneth will be no more.
Kenneth has expired.
Unfortunately.
As will we all.
Under attack.
That's a grim outlook.
Yep.
But technically true.
Better embrace the truth early. Then you don't get disappointed later.
Echo Saber on Dyrachyo now, as we have, looks like 4 occult bracelets in the game.
Under attack.
Perfectly balanced.
Oh.
3 of which on the same team, actually.
Yep. Planet NYU Smile unfortunately did not roll that.
Yeah, they would have taken it if given
Possibly.
the opportunity.
At least.
Moonlight Shadow is being shown, so Shiro
This is
not going to hide it. Ace is the initiation. He is all alone, though.
He will die
You have to think that
eventually.
he will eventually drop.
As will we all.
Yes. Yeah, just say that every time that there's a kill in this game. As Shiro, player we haven't talked about too much, almost done with his butterfly. Top net worth in the game by a 2K discrepancy as there's a double Kenny's rolling around. My goodness. Those don't stack though, right? The abilities?
No.
That would be pretty hype if they did.
It's Carl and Kyle, the kobolds.
Okay.
Kyle is a good name for a kobold.
You didn't like Kenneth, huh?
Kyle is good though.
Radiant's top tower is under
Good
attack.
old Kyle.
Should have called the first one Kiefer.
Kiefer? Is that a name?
For Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh,
Like
that
from 24
actually is,
because
that actually is a name.
He actually did something and blocked a hero. He was a hero in and of himself. Dyrachyo is found by PSG.LGD because he's on the wrong side of the river. LGD with a 3K lead right now. Not exactly. I mean, when do you think they could go for the old Roche? Is this a game where either team, as the Ravage comes through from Ace out of nowhere with the blink, and the burst damage from Tofu is enough to take out the Timber. And Planet trying to go on the run, as the Sonic Wave is not going to be enough to save them. So PSG.LGD lose 2 and likely the tower to come.
Yeah, really nice jump there from Ace. Just
Dire's middle tower.
very quick execution from Gaiman. They just get everything they could there. They could not have got more than those 2 kills in that tower, so maximum value with their spellcasting.
Oh,
I don't think this is
save
happening
is
though.
here
We'll
as
see.
the TP coming in now. Impale to follow, mana drain as well. Shiro has to be careful, he doesn't have his ult anymore. He's getting mana burned as well, but Celery's the one taking most of the damage, it feels like. And he's going to drop as a result. Ace Lowering that damage with the anchor smash as Quinn has to back away. Do they have the follow-up? As the stun connects on the Nothing to Say, and that'll end the pursuit in its tracks, as the arrow apparently did connect.
Yeah, I can definitely see why Gaiman thought that Dusa was killable, but from our perspective, I felt like that was going to be a hard execute. With Dragon Knight TPing in and 2 heroes respawning in 10 seconds, that needed to go faster, but they don't have burst against her, right? They've used Finger of Death already on the Timber kill beforehand, and Mana Drain, what level is it right now? It's definitely not maxed out. It's level 3. This spell gets so much better on level 4. It goes to twice of the effectiveness of level 3 then. Yeah, so they just didn't have enough damage. And they got to turn that around with LGD and get a recovery.
He's actually going to buy the Shard. We're 20 seconds away from Tormentor.
This is a really good Shard game because,
Both
I mean,
supports.
He could definitely wait and see if he gets it from the Tormentor, but the reason it's so good on Lion this game is you want to be guaranteed to be able to stick the Mana Drain
Ace
on Dusa.
Gonna pop the pipe, getting Soul Rip. That was a lot of heals coming from Celery. As Ace looks like he's just gonna walk away. Not able to finish him off from the LGD side as the BKB now in tow for Nothing to Say. Doesn't have the Dragon form at the moment. Yeah, Ace is a very difficult kill, but that's kind of how the Tidehunters are meant to be.
Yep.
Tier 2 tower now. Does Gaiman want to try and defend this? The Ravage is down for 10 seconds, so
it's
won't be able to delay it.
So the challenge that Gaiman are going to face now is how are they going to deal with Shiro, right? Because he has Manta Butter, and he's going for this Scotty, and the only heroes that truly deal damage to Queen of Pain are Slark and, ironically almost, Lion. His max Mana Drain actually does a ton of damage to Medusa, and that's why he's getting that Shard. But they need to find a way of guaranteeing protection for the Lion, so he can stand in Mana Drain in the fights. The Shard is going to protect him from Timber, DK, and Mirana pretty well. So as long as Shiro isn't killing the Lion himself, then he might actually be able to just stand and do max duration drains back to back, aside from Disruption, of course, being able to interrupt it.
Yeah.
But this will now be with an Aegis as well.
This was scanned out by Gaiman, but they did not want to contest.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they do have Ravage.
This one
Maybe they
might
thought
have
they
been
couldn't get
doable.
there in time, but I mean, we're the ones with the vision to see that Roche was very slow.
They might also just feel like they don't have what it takes to fight Medusa right now. Like, they need this dragged out fights where Slark gets to hit a lot of heroes and build up, but they might feel like that area is too clumped. And it's hard to find angles and flank the supports. Because essentially, I think the way you win fights as Gaiman right now is that Slark needs to get on top of supports and kill them with Lion. Going straight in for the Medusa first is just not going to work. Maybe going for the DK, though.
Yeah, they might try for it. And he's going to pop his BKB and the Dragon form, so that indicates he may want to fight this out as Mew shows up as well. Meteor Hammer not going to hit anybody. They take out the Tombstone pretty quickly as Shiro with that Stone Gaze trying to pursue now. Where's the additional catch? It's going to be Nothing to Say with the Dragon Tail onto Celery. And look at the Sonic Wave with the finger. It's enough to delete Nothing to Say and the Ravage to follow from Ace. Can they get any more, though? The Aegis obviously still intact, and Shiro very healthy on top of that. So they kind of trade ultimates to some degree, and Nothing to Say the only casualty.
You see Nothing to Say pinging these Lion Undying are missing. I think this is his way of saying, we got to kill the supports first. We can't go on cores. So, need to find a way of combining their spells on that Lion and just burst him. But Ace providing to be a really good wall there once again for Tofu to get away. And a pretty solid fight for Gaiman. I mean, it did cost them their Ravage and Sonic Wave only to kill the Dragon Knight, but given the circumstances, that could have turned into a pretty grim fight for them. So I think just walking away with a win for those cooldowns should be good enough for now. Shiro is getting stupidly farmed.
Yep,
this has
basically
to
a
be
point boosted away from Scotty.
Pain without consequence.
And I don't know, even with the Shard, struggling to see how Lion can continue to mana drain, especially when they're going to try targeting him first.
Yeah, it has pretty decent range as a spell. It has more range than Medusa's attack range, so if you're placing yourself cleverly in the jungle or something, you should be able to get them off. And while he's draining, nobody's doing anything to him, right? Except the Dusa. It's like Timber can't hit for... I mean, it's better than it used to be because he's universal, but still.
Yeah, New. He's going to get pounced on, but can still go through the gate.
As per Jenkins's very educational video.
Yep. Celery, though, he's going to get dragon-tailed. Arrow does not hit.
Did he have a call again?
Was that tanked by Kenny?
Damn, Kyle stepping up when it matters the most.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, here he comes.
But Shiro and company looking to take this here, too. Man, the Kobold dies.
How many Kyles does he have?
That's a good question.
They just keep Kyling it up. Wait, what? Do they even have a trusty shovel anymore?
Yeah, they have it in their backpack. The Hex is there. Meteor Hammer to follow. Plan is going to take the brunt of the damage here, but Ace has to pop his pipe because he's taking tons of damage from Shiro as he pops the Stone Gaze, and that Chakram just ripping through Gaming Gladiators. 2 heroes down for them as Dyrachyo will exit the premises.
Yeah, it's time to get out. When Tide dies, you're in trouble. He plays a very key role in Gaming Gladiator's strategy here, and once he gets taken out by the Dusa and Tide and Timber, you can't really muster up any sort of defense. So you're going to sacrifice this tower. You might also have to give up mid unless Dyrachyo with that cut might be able to delay it.
I think they might just take the Tormentor.
Yeah,
I'm pretty surprised Gaming didn't go for this just because their shards are so insanely good. This one will go to YU Smile, which is the Cleanse, I believe.
Yep.
Which for this game, Shadow Strike it will dispel.
That's pretty much all, isn't it? Gush. Oh, the Anchor Smash. That's actually true. I think Anchor Smash is the bigger one.
Okay. So you just won't be able to reduce the attack.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're going to take advantage of that, but Tide definitely wants to Anchor Smash Medusa a good amount of the time. It's a massive damage loss for them, but if they cleanse her...
Of course, it's not. As we're going to see, nothing to say. Dragon Tail Arrow hits before Quinn can turn around. I think turning around actually killed him.
Yeah, he should have blinked into them.
I mean, it's better than just getting perma-stun.
That is true.
Tofu.
Mana drain.
And we see... I mean, the cleanse also heals at the end of the duration, so that's obviously just good in general.
Just pretty insignificant for Medusa, though, right?
Yes,
she
for her, for
health.
sure. Yeah.
But on the Dragon Knight, yeah, could be nice.
And the Timber.
Yep.
As Dyrachyo has purchased his shard himself. And PSG.LGD's Tormentor is still in existence at 26 minutes. I mean, Marana Shard is underwhelming at best. That's me being very nice about it. And then it would be, I guess, the DK. Fireball's pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent. I would say one of the nicest things about the Fireball is just that you can push waves without even being there. Like, you just Fireball, breathe fire, and leave. And you clear a wave. So it's very low-risk pushing, which has its uses in a game like this. When you're against Slark Lion, you maybe want to push a little bit more aggressively than you usually could when you have that shard. So that's a bit helpful. Queen going to finish the Ags here. This is a pretty late one for Quinn, but it's going to be very important. They need that damage. And I guess one of the upsides here is against Medusa, she's going to be pretty static in fights, and she's just going to stand and deliver, so you'll always have a target to put that Shadow Strike on and have it expire on.
It's Keith.
So you keep getting screams off. What's that?
It's Keith.
Keith the Kobold.
Yep.
Oh, Keith is
I'm
also good.
actually running out of names.
That's good.
Kevin can be the next.
Kevin is also good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a min-max creep, right? So having the same name as Purge actually makes a lot of sense.
Hey, this is the Kobold. 7K lead for PSG.LGD. As they are going to run into Gaming Gladiators pretty soon. I mean, Roche is not going to be up anytime soon. But they're still occupying this area in advanced preparation for the Roche-off. And Dyrachyo running right into Shiro. There's the Ravage from Ace. Meteor Hammer to follow the Sonic Wave as well. But the Disruption to save the Medusa. And likely the Stone Gaze to follow. Dyrachyo just stun-locked right now and brought down to his knees. Ace is going to get punished on top of that. Double kill for New. And PSG.LGD winning that outright.
Hope we get a replay of that one. Just keep an eye on YU Smile here. It's a little thing, but it's really important that he recognizes exactly what he needs to do. I think a lot of players in this situation would fall into the trap of being too close, but The Shadow Demon actually chose to stand. You're going to see it here. So they have this idea that this is coming. Look how he's standing far off to the right here. He just barely outranges the Ravage. And this gives him another second and a half. Like, or how to say, he's a second and a half faster at coming in for the disruption on the Dusa. I don't know if that made a difference there technically, because I think Shiro's just stupidly overfarmed, but if this game is a little bit closer, this is the kind of thing that can make or break a team fight as a 5. Just very, very good positioning, recognizing how, if Gaming Gladiators are to fight us, what would they do? And then positioning yourself accordingly.
Right.
So, well done. Tofu will mana drain away the Medusa illusions instantly. Obviously, another big part of the shard. We didn't really talk about that aspect of it. But he'll be draining Medusa's Manta. He'll be draining the Shadow Demon illusions of him as well. So it's just it's a given that you want this one. Oh, this could be it. They don't have Ravage, and they're going to get Moonlit on.
That sounds very sexual.
Yep, if you will.
Quinn is going to be the recipient of this gank attempt. Nothing to say, looking for the opening.
Oh,
he
the
blinked
timing!
just at the right time, but will it matter?
Nope.
They still have the damage. Made that a little bit more exciting than it should have been. Quinn dead again.
50 seconds. They could just push straight down mid. I don't think LGD are particularly worried about anything when there's no Ravage.
Yeah, there is a double damage bot though, and
Yeah, nothing to say, we'll grab that for the push.
Roche won't be up for another minute. And yeah, it's going to be daytime.
They're going to go bottom
way.
through mid. I like this.
Radiant's middle tower is under
The mid wave
attack.
comes in. They're not going to be greedy. They'll take the safe lane first.
Yep, there is fortification, but I think Gaming just have to give this set up.
Oh, this is very gone. The question is if they can hold the second one. I don't think PSG.LGD are going to stop. Also love this split. They're going to have Timber kill the ranged racks because they don't need to use their big boys for this one. So he's going to take care of that while the others go to town on the next lane. This is actually a little bit of a pet peeve I have with a lot of pro teams when
Oh,
they
it's
push.
Kevin!
It's lack
He's
of efficiency. with
sacrificing
this.
himself! The efficiency is gone!
Oh, at least that guy had a halo.
Has fallen.
2 racks down. PSG.LGD in full control of this game now. Silver Edge, we missed that on Shiro. And he can just buy a blink if he wants now, but they will likely reset and go for the old Roche, which just spawned. Great cam there.
One of these is
Duracio's
looking at the
forehead.
screen, the other one looking at the keyboard.
That looks like a Counter-Strike cam with his face right next to the monitor. It's like comically close. $14K lead. Some Lotuses in the fountain. And Gaming Gladiators, they know that if they give up Roche, then that is probably GG.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, production. And they do go for the blink, so that is, yeah, still buyback available for Shiro, worst case scenario, as Gaming Gladiators in the pit. Can they do this in time? I don't think so. LGD right. Although they are not going straight to them.
Even if they were to kill the Roche, how the hell do you exit after?
That's true.
With
Celery
LGD
is going to
coming from the
pop
left.
some of these smokes here pretty shortly. And Shiro and company, they're going deep. Nothing to say, jumps in with a BKB. Shiro with the Stone Gaze, getting mana drain from afar. As the Tombstone placed in the pit. Roche not really that low as the Lion dies. Ace gets off the Ravage, but really nothing connecting. And Duraccio trying to finish off the Roche. He does get the Aegis. It's going to cost him the Aegis right off the bat. As Newt getting pursued by Celery and Quinn on the outskirts still. He's already expended the Sonic Wave. Cheese also picked up by Duraccio, so nice job from Gaming Gladiators. But they will lose Celery on the exit. And LGD
Quinn blinked
trying to
that
get
Dragon
something
Tail.
else.
That might save his life, and it will.
Yeah, he's fine. That was
Close
very
call.
nice from Gaming. They deny the Aegis and Cheese essentially from LGD. They still have the Cheese intact.
And they only lost 2 supports. That was pretty solid, actually. The fact that Duraccio got the last hit on Roche as well, it's just the icing on the cake there. Pretty good. They keep the game alive. They're not really progressing, but at the very least, they give themselves a fighting chance against LGD. And if they find this pick,
Yep, they want
be good.
nothing to
He's
say.
alone,
That's a lot of
completely
essence shift stacks
stranded.
now. Nothing to say. Tries the Dragon Tail, but you can see the 26 temporary Agi right now as Shiro's going to have to Silver Edge away.
that's a little bit of a slip-up. That kill was 2k gold and gives them a minute, so that's very good news for Gaming Gladiators. This is effectively going to give them their Ravage back. Nothing to say, feeling confident, just going straight down mid alone. But Slark and Queen can definitely kill him off when he doesn't have the BKB. And Duracho, I think he's going to try to ride this momentum, right? Like, you've got 22 stacks.
Yeah,
Make some more out of them. Yeah, this is very annoying.
Those illusions are pretty strong.
Where's the mana drain, guys? When you need it. All right,
Shiro
wants to go for it.
wants to break Ace. The shield rune is taken right after, though.
He can't take it.
Oh, he didn't take it because he's dispelled.
Yeah, he's purged.
And
But
Ace,
won't do anything.
he's going to live with barely any HP. Shiro pops the BKB, getting pursued by the Timbersaw as New finishes him off. And Shiro popping that Stone Gaze, so not even having. He actually pops the cheese on Duracho. Arrow's going to connect with a nice disruption, dodging the Sonic Wave effectively. Shiro, I think he eats a Lotus there, but now he's out of mana, has to try to stand his ground, and he's doing so very successfully. Kills Duracho, Celery dead as well.
God.
And only one remaining member of Gaiman is alive, and it's just the Lion.
I really thought that was going to go well for Gaiman, actually. They got Shiro down to no mana at all, but that flower, it must have been a greater, right? He got quite a bit of mana and health back there, and that just really turned it entirely. Gaiman had him there for sure. And now instead, this is probably just going to be GG straight down mid. At the very least for Gaiman.
That's the king of the Kennys.
Oh.
I don't know what his name is, though. I've ran out of names. They're going to go for the Megas.
Kezu.
Kezu, right? The king of the kobolds.
Yes. Oh.
And the tier 3 will fall. I mean, that's Ko the Bold, of course.
I mean, this guy is regal, so
it's trying to delay this as much as possible.
King the Kobold. All right.
The king of the kobolds won't matter. Celery dies, buys back.
It's Megas.
They use the fortification, and everyone's going to be up in a second. But you'd have to think they have enough damage to finish this off, and indeed they do. The Ravage coming in from Ace. Now the focus is on you. He's going to pop his BKB along with Shiro. Sonic Wave to come as well, but just too much damage to withstand for Ace, who's in enemy lines at that point. And now PSG.LGD trying to run, but disruption. Going to save New for the time being. Gets forced after the high grounds. Duracho continuing to try to get a kill here. And with the help of the finger, they do find one. And the Pounce connects on the Nothing to Say, who'll just casually BKB TP.
Yeah. I like this disengage from PSG.LGD. Oh, they're going to lose their Shadow Demon just barely there with a stun from Tofu, but despite getting Megas, there's no need to get too cocky there and try to take that fight 4v5 with a dead Timber. Just cut your losses, reset. You have every advantage in the world now. If you just play tight. And Duracho's going to full-on YOLO now, because, like, he knows the game state now. You're against Megas. You got to do something crazy.
Yeah.
So he's literally just out scouting on his own, trying to find some sort of support to get some extra free kills.
I mean, this is where he's most comfortable, Cinderin.
Yep, that's true.
He's in his element when he's doing YOLO stuff.
That is very true.
Now, is the Tormentor considered YOLO? You could use grab out. I mean, I don't know, Cinderin. I feel like they should have gotten the Tormentor at some point. They had 6 full minutes where they didn't go for it. And sometimes I understand because the 50-50, it's like, oh, this one's bad, this one. They had 2 really good shards for their supports.
I think they should have done it, and if Undying didn't get it, he should have bought it. I actually think it's that important this game. You're playing against, well...
Yeah, that was a Lion, as Duracho trying to stand his ground will pop the Shadow Dance, the Stone Gaze. It's going to force him to back out, and now they're going to chase him even further. He's gonna, well, I guess that's the Shadow Dance. First it was the Death Shroud, but he's able to get stunned just as it runs out.
It's over. It's
and
a minute
no
without
buyback.
him. Straight down mid, they are gonna go. Yeah, so if you have the grab ally this game, you can.
GG's
they're gonna call it. You can protect people from this setup of Dragon Tail into Arrow, right? Or Shadow Demon Disruption into Arrow.
Yeah.
I definitely think there were going to be a couple of key moments where having that Tombstone save could have been very interesting for them in team fights, because